Welcome to the Best Kept Secrets podcast, where we share our best kept secrets about life, love, God, and everything in between. Hi guys, welcome to season 3 of the Best Kept Secrets podcast. We're back for yet another season. I can't believe we're already in season 3. I feel like I just started this thing like 2 days ago. Now we're in season 3. We're doing it bigger and better. I'm so excited to start this season off with a great conversation. But before we get there, I want to do some housekeeping. So like I said, we're now in season 3 and we're doing things bigger and better. The first thing that we're doing differently is that we're going to be having our own custom made journals, our best kept secret journals. They will be launching soon. I don't know if this episode will come before or after the journals launch. I'm not sure, but they'll be coming soon. I'm so excited for you guys to receive these journals that we've really worked hard on. That Kablu book of mine that I used to read on, it's gone. I was just like, why am I reading from a Kablu book when I can create my own journal and also just share them with you guys? So they will be available for you to purchase soon and very soon. But yeah, other than that, I'll be sharing some more exciting news and exciting things that we're doing this season as the episodes come out. So let's get into today's episode. You guys have been in the comments everywhere just asking us to do an episode on purpose. And as much as I've touched on it here and there in the previous seasons, I was like, we need a fully dedicated episode just on purpose. And I have an amazing guest with me who is going to be sharing with us. And I don't think there's anyone better to do this conversation with other than Esther. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and then we get into it. So, hi, welcome.
Wow, it's really exciting to be here, Sharon. Thank you. Thank you for having me. So my name is Esther Mwihaki, and I'm really happy to be on this podcast and to discuss a topic that is very close to my heart as well. I'm a mother of 3 boys. I'm a grandmother. That's where I start because that is my foundation. And on top of that, I am a certified professional coach. I especially specialize on personal branding and career coaching because I think that everything is related.
Yeah.
So if we can figure out our careers, then we can move forward even in life. So that's who I am. And I also consult for business in a different capacity in fundraising and in strategy and business development and that sort of thing.
Okay, great. Actually, this season, I really want to just amplify, just careers and just helping people become better people in their careers and in their businesses and all of that. And that's why we're doing an episode on purpose. So yeah, I just, again, like I said, I feel like you're the best person to have this conversation with. So usually we go back and forth, just sharing our points or things that we think about purpose and our experiences with purpose. So do you want to start us off or do I start? I start. Okay. Let me start. Let me be easy on you because I know it's your first ever podcast. But yeah. Okay. So usually I like to relate almost everything that I do with God. So a lot of the points I'm going to share are God centered. And the first thing that I wrote is that purpose is predetermined. So let me just explain a bit more. I was actually having this conversation with someone and they were saying how they feel like we're just put on earth, right? And then it's for you to figure out what you want to do. And my thinking was of completely opposite because I felt like God can't have just put me on earth to just do me. I feel like, even there's a verse in the Bible that says that he knew us, he knows us before we were formed in our mother's womb. And I was just like, there's no way a God that is so intentional could have just put me on earth without giving me some sort of skill, some sort of talent, some sort of purpose that I am supposed to live out in my life. And I feel like a lot of people are in a place where they're just like me. I don't even feel like I have a purpose. I don't feel like I'm talented. I don't feel like I'm gifted. I don't feel like I have anything to offer the world. And I'm just like, I feel like the way God is set up and the intentionality with even creating us, there's no way He could have just put you to fend for yourself without equipping you with some sort of something for you to build up on. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think I totally agree. First of all, that we are not just random.
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody at all who God created is here by mistake. I think God is very intentional, and I believe that we are put here for a reason. We are put here for a purpose, and that purpose evolves. I think one of the challenges that people have is we look at the people who have achieved things, and we look at them and we think they are very clear about their purpose. But we don't look at their journey to getting to that place where the purpose now is very obvious. So, God, yes, put us here for a purpose, but part of that purpose is a journey that you're going to walk through.
Yeah.
Because it is by walking through that journey that purpose becomes clearer and clearer. Yeah, that's what I think.
Actually, I feel like we should have even started by answering what do we think purpose is? What do you think purpose is? If you were to define it.
I think if I was to define purpose, I would say that it is reason for being.
Mm.
The why you are here. And the why you are here is, to me, a journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I think about a fruit tree,
Mm-hmm.
a mango tree, its purpose is to give mangoes. But a mango tree comes from a seed
Then
and
it
it
grows.
grows
Mm.
and it fights disease and it's,
Mm.
and it can take a long time before you finally see a mango out of a mango tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it is with us and purpose as well. All creation, I think, is like that.
Mm-hmm. That's really encouraging because I think people feel like you just wake up one day and then you know your purpose. So I feel like when you look at it as a journey, it makes a lot more sense that it's progressive. Like you progress into your journey, into your purpose journey. You just don't wake up and you're like, okay, today I feel like my purpose is this and I'm going to go and live it. So I really love especially the mango tree example because you actually like imagine it's like there's a lot of growth and a lot of pruning as well that happens with trees and all of that before it fulfills its purpose of actually giving us the mangoes. So I love that analogy. Yeah. So next point, you want to tell us your point or
And it
you want to
is
build on it?
true.
Mm-hmm.
It is true of us as well. Because even when you think about also our pruning,
Yeah.
our growth and our pruning,
Yeah.
and it's something we don't like to, especially from biblical perspective. When it talks about pruning,
Mm-hmm.
that's the part we don't like.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
as in every other fruitful, because what is purpose? And the reason we don't feel purposeful is because we have when we are in seasons when we are feeling unfruitful. So to be really fruitful, that journey will have some pruning,
Mm.
and pruning is not fun. There'll be seasons when there's nothing happening
Mm.
at all. It doesn't
Yeah.
seem like something is happening, but the truth is that something is happening.
Mm.
So as I think it takes patience to just
Mm.
walk the journey and have faith that eventually something you're going to produce some fruit. But there's growth, there's pruning, but all through, when you think about it, something is happening and you're actually even feeding, because even that pruning is part of the growth. There are some things that you cannot carry. You cannot fly with baggage.
Oh, I love that you cannot fly with baggage. That's so great. Honestly, I'm not a fan of pruning. I'm really not. I think, I'm learning to be okay with being pruned and being corrected and being disciplined and being, just readjusted. But the flying, you can't fly with baggage thing is so great, because I think it's just, you're so right that, like, for us to get to the next level, it requires for us to shed off some things. We can't carry everything into the next seasons we're going in. So I love that. Yeah.
And just thinking about that, I think when we think about purpose, we think about an event sometimes. And I think that's where the frustration for most
Yeah, the
people
one
come.
big thing.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
not a one big thing. I don't believe that. I think that purpose evolves. And I also think about the various stages that we go through, and all of them actually have a purpose. So if I can think about the analogy again of the butterfly and the process of the butterfly, if you start with the caterpillar, for example, a caterpillar is on the ground or on a bush somewhere, and it crawls around, and that's its world. And it probably looks at butterflies and thinks, "Who is that? I can never be that."
Yeah.
But a butterfly has purpose. I mean, a caterpillar has purpose in that, because what happens is, in that evolvement, it's the one that builds the cocoon. And when it builds the cocoon, it gets into this cocoon and it becomes formless. It becomes completely liquid in the cocoon. And in that cocoon, I can imagine it's dark, it's formless, it's probably thinks, I can't even get out. I'm not what I used to be. I don't even know what I'm becoming. And this is, if I was there, I would be saying, this is so useless. What is this life for?
Yeah.
But something is happening. And in that cocoon, as dark as it is, it's being formed into something beautiful. And finally, it becomes a butterfly. It becomes a butterfly inside the darkness, inside that cocoon. And God is so merciful, because at the right time, it knows it's now fully formed and it needs to get out. And it needs to push itself out. So in every stage, and if the butterfly was to say, I need to go back to fly out with the cocoon, it wouldn't. And that's where the baggage comes in.
Yeah.
The butterfly
off.
doesn't need the baggage of what it used to be. It just needs to get out of that darkness, leave that cocoon behind, and fly out. So it wouldn't fly if it just insisted on being in that cocoon, in having a part of what it used to be. This is so precious to me. It protected me when I was inside here. But it doesn't need it. And with life, it's like that. Sometimes we go through things and we don't want to leave there, as uncomfortable as it is. We want to carry that with us because it defined us at some point in our lives. So we want to carry that with us. And we can't. We can, but
To slow us down.
it'll slow us down.
Yeah, because I'm imagining a butterfly trying to fly with the remnants of the cocoon. Yeah, it's going to be a very slow butterfly.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think I would even want to speak more about that, like, cocoon season and that darkness, that that stage, because I think a lot of people get stuck there, and they become comfortable in it, and they're just like, yeah, maybe this is just a life I'm supposed to live. So how do you push through that discomfort for that cocoon stage and that feeling of you're in the dark and you really don't know what the next step is or what you're supposed to do next with your life? How do we progress from that?
First of all, the food in the cocoon, the nutrition actually reduces, which means you actually know in your know.
Mm.
You know, we have intuition, we have the spirit, and we have the spirit of God, and we know that it is time.
Yeah.
It is time to move out, but it takes effort. Even for the butterfly to push out of the cocoon, it has to literally push itself out. And if you were to cut that cocoon to help the butterfly out, imagine it will die.
Mm.
Because it's in pushing out that the wings become strong
Mm.
and it's able to fly. I think that a lot of us are waiting
Mm.
for someone to come and rescue us. Okay.
Yeah.
The truth is, no one is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have to push
You
yourself
have to be that person for yourself.
out of that,
Yeah.
out of that space.
Mm.
Yes, there's help. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's why you have coaches and mentors to help you pull out,
Mm-hmm.
but more to nudge you that, you know what, it's time to move out. It's not really to, nobody can do it
Do
for
the
you.
work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's going to
Mm.
do the work for you.
Mm.
So when you're ready to
Mhm.
get out
Mm-hmm.
of the cocoon, you know. But then you have to be committed to the efforts
Mm-hmm.
it takes to push yourself out of it.
Mm. I love that. I love that analogy. And I think everyone should go and search on YouTube the process so you can see, because I have a visual, because I've seen a video of a caterpillar in a cocoon and then it
Yeah.
like trying to like come out and coming out as a butterfly. It's really beautiful how God creates everything. It's amazing. One of the things you mentioned earlier is actually a point I had about um purpose being seasonal. Um because I think, again, like you were saying, that a lot of people think purpose is one big thing that you're supposed to fulfill on earth. And I think purpose sometimes changes even with season. And I was sharing in another season, the last episode in our last season, that um I feel like even you being a mom is purposeful. Like, that's purpose. Being a wife is purpose. Being a husband is purpose. Being a student is purpose. Like, in every season in your life, there's something purposeful that you're meant to do in it. But if you don't recognize that this is my purpose in this season, then you completely miss out on what God wanted you to do in that season. So I think definitely we need to stop looking at purpose as one big thing, but okay, so this season that I'm in my life, what is my purpose for it? What can I do in this season to fulfill whatever it is I'm supposed to fulfill in this role that I am in? So yeah, I think that that also helps a lot of people who feel like, especially with moms, when they have newborns and they're not working, they're at home, they feel like, they're being left behind in life, and people are transitioning and doing things in their careers. That you being a mom and giving birth to that child and being at home and taking care of them is purposeful. So yeah, I think that's how I prefer to look at purpose. Yeah.
And I think I completely agree with that. I think that sometimes I don't know what we think purpose is going to be,
Mm-hmm.
because there is no purpose without people.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is about people, and what better purpose than this person that you have been given, if truly purpose comes from God. Yeah.
Yeah.
And God has given you a child.
Mm-hmm.
That is your purpose. That is your impact on that child,
Mm-hmm.
because it's never, purpose is not never about you.
Yeah.
Let's first
Yeah,
get
it's
that
service to
out of the way. It's
others.
about other
Yeah.
people. And in fact, if you think about the most joyful moments, the most joyful moments in life are when you have impacted somebody else positively, when you have made somebody else's life better, that is the most gratifying time. So purpose is about other people. It's not about just you getting. It's about what are you giving? Because even every creation gives.
Yeah.
So if I really think about it, I think that everything that God has created gives. The sun shines and gives. The moon gives. The birds wake up and they sing because that's just who they are. And somebody receives that, and it's beautiful. So whatever it is that's in you, just give. That's what it is. And I think that purpose is lived every single day, every single interaction with another human being.
Yeah.
The only difference is a lot of us are not aware and we are not intentional about it. So we have a child we are taking care of, and we are not in the moment. We are not thinking about what a joy and what a and what a privilege to be given this opportunity to impact this child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so great. Your analogies are great. I love your analogies so much. So I also wrote um it's in God's best interest for your purpose to be fulfilled. And for context, I was watching a sermon and it was saying how a really old sermon. It was saying how there is no way that um God doesn't want his people to succeed, especially for young people who feel lost and directionless. I want them to also know that God is also committed to them fulfilling their purpose. It's not just them trying to push through and they have no support and no backing, and it's just them trying to figure it out. I think that God is also really like, he has our back and is really rooting for us to also fulfill our purpose or find our purpose and all of that. Again, because I was saying, I feel like, it's just a bad rep if the God we serve, all of us were serving him, and we're all poor, we're all destitute, we're all homeless. Even if you try to talk to non-believers, they're just like, hey, you guys, you're God. The way you guys are looking, me, I don't believe, but like it's in his best interest. It adds to his kingdom if we fulfill our purpose. So you're not just doing it on your own. You have backing, you have someone behind you rooting for you. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's great because I think you cannot live your purpose in isolation. There's no one, even the greats, who ever lived their purpose in isolation. And I think that that's one of the greatest problems we have, this individualism that says it's all about me and making it and getting the stars by myself and looking good by myself. And I created this thing by myself. We think that's purpose.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're completely right about the doing it alone thing. I think it's also like our mentality, especially like our generation is very, I got this, like, I don't need anyone, I can just do it by myself, blah, blah. But like, yeah, I think there is like, you can't do it alone. Like it requires people to go along the journey with you. Yeah.
And that's the way we were created.
Yeah.
That is why we are created in community.
Yeah.
There's no one who ever did great things who ever did it alone. No one. If I can think even about Jesus, for example, he could have done it alone.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He had helpers. He had, the first the three, and then the 12,
Yeah.
and eventually like 72. So we need community. And if you're going to do anything great, you need help. You can't just do it by yourself because it's not about you. I think that's the thing we have to keep reminding people. It's not about you. If you're truly living purpose, it cannot just be about you.
Yeah.
It has to be, whom are you serving? What's the higher goal of what you're doing? And then show up every day and be willing to be helped, because there are people who God has put on your path to do exactly that, to help you, but also for you to help. And some of these people you may never know until you look back and you join the dots and you think, oh, that's why I had to go through that. And that's what I learned in that relationship. And that's what, I overcame this and now I know better. So all these little things, they're not little, some of them are, like
Big.
completely big.
Yeah.
But when we look back and we see the steps that we've had to take and the people we've met and the ones who have helped us or we have helped, all the dots start to join. And then now you can see that's why now I am here. Yeah.
Actually, in one of our the last season, one of the episodes, one of our guests, we had a conversation about friendship, and she was saying how friends should bear the burden of purpose, because again, like I was saying, we like to do things on our own, and some of us, we just, as friends, we don't want to show up for other people in that capacity where you're actually bearing the burden of their purpose and you're actually pushing them towards it, or you're supporting them through it and all of that. So, even if it's not your friends, and it can be your family, it can be literally anyone. But again, like you're saying, you have to also allow people to help you, because yeah, that allowing people to help you part is a lot. Me personally, I struggle with allowing people to help me, because me, I'm just like, yeah, I can do it, like I'm fine, I got it, like it's fine. Yeah, so yeah, work in progress. Work in progress.
I think we are all work in progress, and we should just be kind to ourselves. But what I realized at some point is that I always say we have not because we ask not. And the more we ask, the more we get. And isn't it interesting that we're praying for things, and sometimes we get the thing that we want, but it doesn't come in the way we want it.
Yeah.
Maybe it comes in the form of someone coming to help you do that thing. And what really stops us from asking for help a lot of times is either we fear rejection, or we want to hog the spotlight. So we don't want to share in case we're successful. We don't want to share.
I did it all by myself.
Yes, the spotlight. We want to say it was all me. But that's all pride. At the bottom of it, fear of rejection is pride. And even that fear of sharing is still pride, because you just want to hog everything.
Yeah.
So I think if we can just be honest with ourselves and say, why am I being prideful? If truly you want to live your purpose, do you have time to be prideful?
I guess not. No. Actually, when I think about that, it's just reminded me of the story of Esther. And Mordecai is the one who pushed her to, her purpose, and being the what was she called? She was called for a time such as this, right? Something like that. Yeah. So without Mordecai, who, called her out and was just like, if you don't actually help, this and this is then this is going to happen, and or do this and this and this, should have just probably just be chilling somewhere, just, she didn't even, like, her people would have been killed, everyone would have been killed, she would just, yeah. So I think it's important to note when you've been sent those people, because God usually sends people to push you along the path that you're supposed to take, instead of um instead you might be looking and waiting for the thing when God has sent you the person that is going to get you to that thing. So yeah, I love that.
But you might also be the Mordecai.
Or in someone else's.
Yes. And that's your
Mm.
purpose. That's your purpose.
Oh yeah, because that was his
For
purpose.
exactly. Yeah, that's your purpose for that time.
Yeah.
I believe that relationships are, we're not very intentional about relationships, but I think that we should be a lot more intentional about relationships, because relationships, whatever those relationships um, are either taking you to your destiny or they are distracting you from your destiny. So it's and we have to be brutally honest about that. Like, is this actually leading me to where I want to go? And I'll give you an example. There's someone who told me that they went through coaching and they were doing very well, and they're really flying. They're in this butterfly stage. And when you're in butterfly stage, your worldview changes. Okay, your worldview totally changes, because imagine when you're a caterpillar, you're only seeing the bush or the tree that you're revolving around.
Yeah, you're in the ground.
You're the ground. And then now you're a butterfly. So you're seeing the whole forest. And there are more opportunities. Suddenly the abundance that you can see is huge. And in that phase, you also become fruitful, because it's at the butterfly phase that it lays eggs, right?
Yeah.
So you're now in this phase where you're literally flying. And this person told me that they can't even tell the people around them about their achievements. They fear to tell them about the great things they're doing, because they feel that they'll feel bad. And I told her, you've outgrown them. That's the brutal truth.
Oh,
And that's
hard to
okay.
hear. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to hear.
It's and it doesn't mean you're not their friends. They are your friends. They're still your friends. But if you're going to be really fruitful, and if you're going to achieve your purpose and destiny, you've got to fly with your tribe. And your tribe right now has shifted. And you've got to recognize that.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing in the relationships that evolve together. I've got friends who've been my friends for many years, decades. And by the grace of God, we have evolved together. Yeah. And that's why we're still friends. But I also have many friends who we are not in the same place that we used to be, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Our paths have diverged, and that's okay. And to recognize that.
Yeah.
And to say, I don't want to pull you down. You fly. You're I can't go to that temperature now.
I think it's the that's okay part that we struggle with, because sometimes we know that we've outgrown these spaces or these people, but we still hold on because they are comfortable, it's what we know, just we like letting go is usually hard, and being okay with, yeah, they're still my friend, but for where I'm going, I can't go with them, or I need to distance myself a little, or they just wouldn't be able to understand. Is difficult, especially if they've been your friend for ages, for years and years and years. So I think it's that's okay part that we struggle with. But like, I guess the quicker we become okay with that, and even you as the other friend, you have to be okay with the fact that you have to allow this friend of yours to fly, and that they're not going to do it with you as well. Yeah, because I think that's like where the struggle is. Yeah.
And I look at it as a journey, and for this journey, we start off together. But if you're going to Mombasa, and some people, we get to Machakos and they decide, actually, I want to settle here,
Mm.
and you still have the urge to go to Mombasa, and you keep going, and some other guys reach Mtito Andei and they say, this looks
I'm okay
comfortable.
here.
I'm
Yeah.
okay here.
Mm.
And you still being driven to see the ocean
Mm.
and to dip your toes in the ocean, and you keep going. And maybe not everybody will get to the ocean with you. And actually, that's an interesting place when I think about the ocean analogy,
Mm.
because the ocean is about, again, abundance
Mm.
and opportunities.
Mhm.
And sometimes you can have, and you can try, as there's those friends you try and push and carry with you as much as you can. But at some point, you've got to recognize you cannot be ambitious
Yeah.
for other people,
Mhm.
and maybe their purpose is there
Mhm.
exactly where they are, because I believe that our lives are unfolding exactly as they should.
Yep. Oh, that's so good. I actually have a friend who's struggling with that currently. I'm definitely sending her this to watch. Yeah. So the next point I had was I just wrote parable of talents. Because again, this is another conversation I was having, and the person was just saying how the talents are nurtured, right? Which I completely agree with. Environment and nurturing definitely helps you bring your talents out more. But I was also of the opinion that there has to be a lot that comes from you as well, in terms of doing whatever doing something with what God has given you. And basically, in a nutshell, for the people who don't know the parable of the talents, but go read it. So this master left and he gave three of his servants each talents. And when he came back, he asked for a report for what have you done with the talent, the things that I left you with. And each person, one of them was like, oh, I went, I multiplied it. You gave me 3, now I have 10. The other person said, I might not have the numbers correct, but someone else was like, oh, you gave me 2, now I have 5. And then the other person was like, you gave me 1. And I really just wanted to keep it sacred. So I dug it under the ground and I just kept it safe because I know this thing really matters to you. And how I think that applies to us is, God has given us skills or talents or things within us. And he is going to account for it when we go to heaven. He's going to ask you, I gave you this and this and this. What did you do with it? And I watched someone, and the pastor preacher guy was saying how his deepest desire is to die empty. He wants, when he's dying, yani he's done everything he could have possibly done with what God had given him. And it changed how I look at things now, because I think before, I would look at things in a very self-serving way, in a very, I just want to be happy, I just want to do this, I just want to do that, right? So, and then when I started to be like, okay, God is actually going to ask me, what did you do with the things that I gave you, or the I was just like, what am I actually going to say to him? And now my prayer has been, Lord, let me die empty. Let me use every single opportunity you give me. Let me use every single thing, right? So, as much as, yes, environment does nurture talent, and there are parents who help nurture talent, and schools and all of these things, there's also, it has to come from you. There has to be a desire within you to be like, I want to be able to fulfill this and this thing, or I want to be able to do this thing. And then I guess just like a merging of two things. Yeah. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I think that, okay, first of all, that I love the idea of dying empty, because what's the point
Yeah.
of dying with things that you have? But it comes back to people.
Mm-hmm.
It comes back to giving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So whatever it is that you have inside of you, And sometimes you don't discover your talent by just sitting down and thinking about it. Sometimes you discover your talent as you do things. You speak to people and they tell you, oh, you're so good at this, you should do this. And you either, take time to explore it, or you say, no, 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 I can't do that. And we hide. And we hide a lot. For different reasons, we hide. We have something that we could talk to people about, but we hide. We know someone that we could help, but we hide. And I think what I've found is, even when I'm doing things, I look at it as, if I can touch one person, just one, that's okay. Because if one person, even in the programs that I run, it's about one person. It's always about one person. If one person's mindset can be shifted, and they can get that clarity. So for me, I am about amplifying impact. And I've seen it. So somebody will come and tell me, that when you talked about discovering your worth, and or something, or some other topic, and I went to work and I was able to push for what I want, and I was given, and now guess what? I am talking to people about it. I'm talking to
So
people
it
about
creates
it.
like a domino effect.
So that person goes and talks to somebody about, because now they know different. Or even they go back home and they talk to their children about it. And they're able to encourage their children more. And that to me is amplifying impact. So even if it was just one person that I touched, it's enough, because that person is going to touch one more person, and that other person is going to touch one more person. Who knows what that child who has been impacted will turn out to be, and what kind of impact they're going to be. And I think in this age where people are looking for clicks and, how many likes and how many views, we lose that. We lose the fact that if one person gets the message, it's okay. It's your job is to put it out there. Your job is to tell somebody you're okay. You're okay, and you got this. If one person gets it, your purpose is done. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. You actually said something that ties into my last point, which was about how God will give you opportunities to discover your purpose, that He just doesn't expect you to just like wake up and one day He gives you opportunities, like you were saying. There are places or situations you're put in, and then you discover, oh, I'm actually good at this. Or someone tells you, and you have a thought that, oh, maybe I should explore this more, or maybe this is where I'm feeling a bit more passionate about. Like, it just doesn't magically, automatically comes to you. You're put in situations and opportunities for you to discover that. And especially I found that in situations and seasons of darkness is where you're more likely to figure things out. Because I think sometimes when we're in abundance, we get a bit comfortable and we're just like, yeah, my life is great. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to impact anyone. I can just be okay. So if you're in a place or season of darkness or just loneliness or whatever, that is the best place for you to actually dig deep and find your purpose. So it doesn't all have to be um it doesn't have to look pointless. It's how you look at it. If you look at it as, this is an opportunity for me to discover myself more, or discover what I'm supposed to do, then you learn something from it. So yeah, that's all I have in me. I don't have anything left. Do you have anything you can add?
Yeah, I think that for purpose, especially when it comes to that dry season, when you're feeling like nothing is going on, nothing is happening, reach out to someone else, and help someone else. In fact, when you don't feel like calling someone, that's when you should call someone, because maybe that person just needed someone to call. And sometimes we just feel, oh, nobody calls me, nobody can call me. And you don't have to say anything, deep. You just need to call that person and say, how are you doing? And that will do something good for you as well. Just that reaching out will do something good for you. And there's no one who cannot do one thing for someone else. No one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think just the entire theme of this conversation has just been do something for someone. Just be of service to someone, be of service to other people. Don't just be self-serving all the time, which I think especially my generation is very guilty of, me included. Actually, to close, I can just give a story about there's a time Thimba, I think you know Thimba, right? Yeah. Who we talk about a lot on this podcast. He needs to come on this podcast. We've just talked about him too much. I was having a conversation with him and he asked me, what do you he asked me something about like what is my goal in life or something like that. And my answer was like, oh, I just want to be happy. I just want to get married and have kids. And, it was just about me, 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 me. And then I was like, oh, what about you? And then he told me, I was like, when I die and I go to heaven, I want to be for there to be an applause, for job well done. You have brought so many people to us. Why am I getting emotional? I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. Just,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, and that changed my life. That changed how I look at things. Because what is
Wow.
going on? Okay, I'm fine. It changed my life. It changed how I look at things because at that time, I was just like, I'm so selfish. I'm just thinking about myself and how I can benefit myself and how I can be happy, and I'm not thinking about other people and how I can be of service to other people. So, yeah, I think that was the goal of even this conversation with you, is just to encourage people to be of service to other people as you serve your purpose. It can't just be about you. You This is not how God works. Yeah, it has to be in service to other people as well. Yeah. So,
It has
yeah.
always been about
Yeah.
it has always, and it doesn't mean actually you get a lot of happiness and joy
Yeah.
in serving other people.
Yeah.
When people go through, for example, or even just interactions
Yeah.
with people, and you meet someone years later and they tell you, you helped me, you helped me do this,
Yeah.
you know, you give me clarity
Mm.
on this. Or I have people who come to me and they tell me, you gave me my first job. And I'm thinking, when? I can't even remember.
Yeah.
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 And that's the beauty of it, because when you give, and when you're just, like I said, just do whatever it is you need to do for that day, you may not know the kind of impact you're having on someone until years later,
Yeah.
when this person comes and tells you, you did this for me and that's
Yeah.
why I'm here now.
Mm.
And that to me is so much joy. That's what it is about.
Even a kind word, even you saying a kind word to
Yeah.
someone, like literally changes so much, because sometimes they can be viewing themselves in a certain way, and then you say something to them and it completely changes
Yeah.
how they see themselves. Even just, it's literally in the small things. It doesn't have to be like big things that you're doing for other people. It's the words you speak to them. It's how you treat them. It's how that changes
Yeah.
how they live their lives. So yeah.
And it's interesting, if I can give you an example, my neighbor's house help, you know. So when we moved to this new place, and I just say hi to everybody. I just think everybody is worthy. One of my values is worthiness, and everybody is worthy of a greeting at least. So, and I always say hi to, the house helps outside, and we got chatting, just that, just chatting. And last Christmas, when she came from Christmas, this lady brought me a chicken.
Oh, that's so
She,
nice.
like, from all the way from Kakamega, she brought me chicken and fruits. I was really shocked. Like,
Yeah.
why? Why did you do this?
Yeah.
And I can just imagine. I mean, this was so sacrificial. And she said, "You're the only one you're always the one who greets us.
Oh.
You speak to us." And I thought, when?
Yeah, for you it's just you're just saying hi.
Yeah. But little for her, it means that much that I see her and I speak with her, even though she's my neighbor's house help.
That's so nice. That's
Yeah.
so nice. Oh, I can't cry any more tears, okay? I can't. So just to close, maybe you can tell us how we can reach you in case someone wants to have you as their life coach, or if they want to take any of your courses or anything that you offer. I guess to that camera. So yeah.
Okay. First of all, this has been really great. And as I said from the beginning, I'm a coach and a trainer. I have a program on personal branding. In fact, right now we are doing the October intake, which is going to start on the 28th of October. And how you can reach that is you can either just WhatsApp us on 0725986162, or you can go to our website sbd.co.ke, or you can go to my LinkedIn, Esther Mwihaki. All these, one way or another, you can be able to enroll, and we can tell you more about how you can get clarity, confidence, and courage through your personal branding journey.
Okay, great. I will leave all those details that she has just said in the description box, so you guys can always come back and refer in case you need to reach her and take any and just get to have her um be part of her program. So thank you so much for just doing this and having this conversation with me. I know it's going to impact at least one person. That's the goal. Just
Yes.
at least one person. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been
You're
such a pleasure.
welcome. Yeah, and we hope to see you on more podcasts now.
It'll be my pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
guys, for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Please share this with someone who you know needs it. For those of us who are listening on our audio platforms, thank you for listening. I will see you, or you will hear me in our next episode. Bye.